welcome to another episode of Talking to Myself. I'm your host, Jake Letizia, and this is the podcast where I look into a camera and I talk to myself. How's it going? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing fine. Welcome to the latest podcast I've ever released. It's supposed to come out on Monday, and it is currently Thursday or Friday. Who knows? Most likely Friday, because if this comes out on Thursday, it'll be late at fucking night. Or late enough where basically you're going to listen to it Friday if you listen to it at all. How you doing? How's it going? It feels like it's been fucking forever since I sat down and did this. I'm fine, man. I'm looking at my bed right now. There's the light that's shining on me right now. There's just an open case for it. I don't know if you can see it in camera. I got my work laptop. I got fucking just tons of clothes on this bed. I think you guys can only see this. But if you can see more of it, I'm truly fucked. If you're watching this and you can see any more than this portion of my bed, I look bad. I look like a disgusting person. I look like an unlivable human. This room looks not able to exist in right now. And that's kind of how I live most of my life. I live most of my life in a state of, what the fuck are you doing? And I was thinking about that a lot, but right before I was about to start, because I realized that I've been recording enough episodes in this room, in my room, the one that I fucking sleep, work, eat, and breathe in. I've recorded enough in this room for it to be, a staple of the podcast. If you watch the podcast, you're seeing this room a lot at this point. More so than you're seeing where I used to do it. But I realized in almost every single one, I think in every single episode, in the thumbnail itself, in the entirety of the episode, but in the thumbnail as well, you can see just an unmade bed. Just an unmade, kind of shitty, kind of maybe not, just an unmade. I can't tell if you can tell the state of the sheets, but an unmade, kind of dirty, disgusting bed. And then I was really thinking to myself, and I was like, that's how I live my life. I live my life like a dude with an unmade bed. And I think you can feel that from people. I said once on this podcast that like you can. There's like a clean room confidence that people have, and I think there's also a unmade bed identity that people take on when they don't make their beds. You can tell when someone is talking to you like, this guy does not give a fuck enough to make his bed. Absolutely not. This guy is operating in a way where I know when he cleans his sheets, they're still kind of dirty, Which at first I meant as a gross insult, but now the more I'm talking about it, it sounds kind of badass, dude. I'm so dirty that you can't even clean my sheets, bro? That's hot. Does that mean I fuck a lot or I have grime on my body? I can't tell. If somebody said that to me, I wouldn't be able to tell. I'd be like, are you bragging or are you in a state of peril? What's going on? But yeah, unfortunately, I think it's fortunate. I feel good that now this has been on public display. Now it's undeniable. Anyone who knows me or who cares enough to be like, he's got a fucking podcast? Why? Anyone who has that thought gets to also know, damn, dude, this guy doesn't ever make his bed. I mean, it's nighttime when I make most of these podcasts. So at that point, when it becomes the night, it's too late to make your bed because you're about to unmake it. So at that point, you're an asshole. If you don't make your bed in the morning, it's over. It's over. Because the closer you get, the more you get away from the morning, the closer you get to it not being efficient to make your bed. Because you're just going to have to fucking pull the covers down and sleep anyway. There is a psychological connection with making your bed that I don't know why. I don't know why you feel better as a human being to have made your bed. I don't understand it. I don't know what part of psychology it makes us still feel that. I don't know what we did in the past. I don't know what survival thing pairs with, thank God I made my bed, I feel like an efficient human today. I don't know. But it's true. There's some weird psychological connection. I don't know why they say a clean room or a cluttered room is a cluttered mind. That's true, but why? I don't get it. And then people also say this, well, really creative people have dirty rooms. And it's like, that's still not an excuse to have one. People love to do that with shit. People with dirty rooms are Ernest Hemingway had a dirty room, and he wrote some pretty great books, so I can also have cupcake wrappers on the floor of my room. No, dude. I don't care how many people created beautiful art with a shitty room. I still feel terrible that mine is also gross. I don't feel like, damn, I'm about to write a great screenplay. I feel like, damn, I'm 6 minutes away from suicide. That's what I feel like. Not good. Ugh, not good. I just sipped coffee. If you're not watching this, if you're just listening, I just sipped coffee. It's a new cold brew because they didn't have the cold brew I wanted. Listen to me. Complain about cold brew like a fucking privileged bitch. And I don't mean bitch as in a female sense. I rarely ever say that word, and I just recently have been saying it more, and I don't know why. I say it to my friend all the time. Me and him go, "What's up, bitch?" I think it's because it's such a stupid fucking thing to say. But anyway, what a privileged piece of shit. Bitch just is an alternate for piece of shit when I'm saying it. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if I've ever used that word in the way that it's meant. Female dog. That was a great joke in middle school. That was a wonderful joke. You're a female dog. Saying that to people, you felt so smart. You're like, I know what bitch really means. Hell yeah, dude. And then you call people female dog, and they'd be like, are you calling me a bitch? And you'd be like, no. That's peak level cleverness for a middle school kid. When you're fucking in 7th grade and you call someone a female dog, dude, there's no greater high. There's no greater high than that. That and corpulent. Corpulent might have been the greatest high of all time. I learned corpulent. Corpulent means fat. It means overweight. It means grotesquely overweight. It means not a weight that people like. Okay? I'm not making any judgment on weight and if people look good at what weights. I'm not making any judgment there. I'm just saying corpulent is a clear insult of someone's weight. And we learned it in class. And corpulent, when I first learned the word in my vocab class, I was like, this doesn't sound, no one knows what this means, and it also kind of sounds like a compliment. So I called a girl, I'm not proud of this. Now I'm not proud of it. In fucking middle school when I did it, well, I was so proud. Right this second, feel terrible. In middle school, felt like a legend. I swear. I said corpulent to a friend of mine, a female friend of mine, or it wasn't. It was in middle school when you were a dumb, ignorant boy. You like would talk to girls, but then you would be like, but they're not my friends because I don't understand. I had a lot of, in retrospect, female friends in middle school, but I didn't view them that way at the time because I didn't understand women and how to speak to them and what they were as people. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of cloudy influence on my brain that made me not know if I should be friends, if I should date, what the fuck was going on. So there was a girl who I talked to a bunch, and I called her corpulent. I said, you're very corpulent. But I said it like that. I said, you're very corpulent. And she was like, what does that mean? And I was like, it means very smart and talented. What a fucking mean thing to do, dude. What a shitty thing to do. Dude, it is what it is, dude. I did it. What can I say? I don't like that I did this, but I did it. And she took it as a great compliment. I'm such a piece of shit. She took it as a compliment because I said it like a compliment. And then a couple weeks later, she just goes, hey, I know what that means. And I was like, what do you mean? And she goes, corpulent. I know what that means. I go, it means it's a compliment. And she goes, no, it means fat. And I and she said it with a smile too. She honestly took it very well. I was very lucky because I did something shitty and mean, and kudos to how cool of a person she was. How much I shouldn't have done it to this person is that not only was I being a jerk and trying to get one over on her, but when she found out, she did it with a smirk and was like, "Hey, dude, I know what you're saying." And I was like, "Oh." And instead of being like, "You got me," I went, "No, it's a compliment. What are you talking about? I don't think it doesn't mean that." And she goes, "Yeah, it does." I go, "I don't think it does." And she goes, "It doesn't?" And I was like, Nah, it's a compliment." And then she just looked at me like she didn't believe me, and then that was it. And right now, telling the story, I feel embarrassed. I feel like a piece of shit. I feel like an asshole. But I will tell you, at that time, I felt like the smartest, coolest man of all time. I did. I thought I was clever as shit. It was me and my friend. I told my friend about it, and he laughed forever. He laughed for what felt like, at that time, an eternity, which was probably 2 minutes. Time is much slower when you're younger, and he laughed an eternity's worth, which was 4 minutes and 32 seconds. And I felt very clever. I think that's what it is to grow up, is doing things that at the time you feel really cool about, and then later you realize, oh, that's a really mean thing, and I feel bad about it. I think that's the human experience. That's what it is to be a person, is to go, damn, this is the funniest thing I've ever done, and then years later go, damn, I feel really bad about that. And I think I said it to her. I think I brought it up to her, and she didn't remember. So many things in my life that have haunted me after it happening, I bring up to people years later, and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry about that. And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then I'm like, did you block it out, or was it just not as bad as I thought? And then the person ends up apologizing to me. They're like, dude, it's fine. They end up consoling me. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to fucking remedy this thing that I did. I'm not trying to have you console me about me saying something mean to you years ago that you don't remember. And then you think to yourself, should I just not bring it up to people? And then the moment you don't bring it up to somebody is like, hey, you said this to me. And I'm like, I don't remember that at all. Somebody comes up to you and they're like, you said something much shittier to me. And I'm like, dude, I probably did, and I'm sorry, but I do not remember that. And then that makes you think, like, why do I remember this thing that this person doesn't care about? But the thing that actually was mean enough to affect someone for years of their life, I'm like, no recollection. Are we all just blocking out the most traumatic thing possible? Maybe. Maybe the reason I don't remember. Well, that doesn't make sense. I was gonna say maybe the reason I don't remember is because it was a shitty enough thing that I had done that I don't. My brain's like, you can't remember that. You can't remember that. It's not going to be good for you to remember you're that person. But that doesn't make any sense because, and then I was going to say the thing I did to people that they forget, they're also like, I can't keep that in my brain because that makes me feel bad. But then these other people who are bringing it up to me, what am I saying about that? That the thing that happened to them did not matter? I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. All I'm saying is that's a good thing, dude. If you feel bad about something that you did, that's a good thing, right? Is that ever a bad thing? I think that's always a good thing. That means there's you're moving towards being better, right? If you feel bad about something you used to do or that you did to someone. Showing remorse, I think, is good. Because when you meet people who are like, fuck that, dude. Fuck that shit. Yeah, I said that in middle school, and it's still funny. And you're like, I don't know. Like, whenever I get... I've talked about this before, but whenever, like, Facebook reminds me of what a piece of shit I used to be, by being like, remember you said this status? And I'm like, I fucking said that? God damn it. Why is there not an automatic delete button? Facebook should bring up your old statuses just and then immediately have like a you probably should destroy this from the world. Every time Facebook shows me a thing I used to say, I'm like, are they intentionally trying to like show that they got dirt on me? Does Facebook understand the worst things you said and they bring it up like, yeah, motherfucker, don't ever fuck with us, dude. Don't ever fuck with the Zuck. We'll fuck you right back. Zuckerberg denies it in court. No, we don't have an algorithm that finds out the exact worst things that you could have possibly said when you were a child and have them reminded to you, but there's no way you can delete it without fully deleting your profile 9 times. No, we don't do that at all, dude. We don't at all bring up the worst things you've ever said and then make it almost impossible to delete it. We don't do that, dude. Why would we do that? We're a big company trying to make money. We're not trying to blackmail our users and make them stuck in the system forever. No, dude. Come join the metaverse, bro. You'll dodge bullets. You'll be Neo. You'll be the one. We're all the one in the metaverse. Hop in this painting with me. It's like Super Mario. Just do it. I saw a fucking metaverse trailer and it was all these people in an art gallery looking at paintings of like drawings of wildlife, and the wildlife drawings started like coming to life and like you know, climbing on trees, but it was like people dressed like animals. It looked like Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. That's what it looked like. It looked like Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Where people are in like, you can't tell if someone's a puppet. You can't tell if it's a puppet or somebody in a suit. That's what it felt like the entire time. And all these people in the gallery were looking around being like, whoa, this is so cool. Oh my God. And then there was like this monkey with this weird face being like, come join us. Come with us. And then at the end it said metaverse. And I was like, that seems like the most horrifying shit I've ever seen in my life. I don't want an acid trip where I'm pulled into the jungle where I don't know if people are animals or humans. I don't want that to be my online life. I don't want that. How is that engaging? That's the most terrifying thing, is that the metaverse is openly terrifying. I want to be lulled into a sense of comfort, and then you can eradicate my existence. Don't go like, hey, this is terrifying. Don't you want to join up? No, dude. No, Zuck. Stop reminding me that I was mean to women in high school. Stop showing me those statuses. Just auto-delete it. What are we doing? You know why I rarely say bitch is because I said it a lot in high school for sure. My views of women in high school were terrible, dude. They were awful. And you know how I'm reminded of it? Fucking Facebook reminds me all the time. I'm like, damn, dude, I really fucking, which is a good thing. Like I said, it means I'm very different from that person. If I can look at things I said when I was fucking 14 and my reaction is, what the fuck is wrong with me? What the fuck was wrong with me back then? That's a very good thing. If I read it like, oh shit, I don't want anyone to see this, that would be bad. That would show I don't want anyone to see this because I still kind of think it. No. I look back at shit that I wrote and I'm like, damn, I guess I thought I was being funny. I was so angry, and I directed my anger just in all of the wrong directions. I hated the world. I hated everybody for nothing. Which is a common thing. I don't know. I don't think it's that uncommon. I feel like we see exaggerated versions of it all the time. We see like the worst possible high school kid. I don't know. What am I saying? I mean, I guess at the ultimate end of that spectrum is a school shooter. I guess that's what I'm saying. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is I think a lot of kids are on the spectrum of, they're on a spectrum of like not understanding themselves and hating a lot of things. And when you get to one side all the way of that spectrum, you get a gun. That's what it seems like to me. Which isn't funny, but it's, you know, I don't know, it's fucked up. But I think there's truth to it. I think there's truth to I don't know. There's a lot of kids in high school who are very angry. Most of them don't shoot up their school, but I think there are a lot of kids who are viscerally angry and upset and don't understand themselves or how they should feel. And you know, a lot of them don't do anything with that. Or maybe they do. They do smaller versions of something big like that. And I think the worst possible version of that is someone taking all of that confusion and directing it towards something disgusting and violent. But I do think it's a normal feeling to feel extremely lost in high school. You know? I think it's very common to feel extremely lost and hateful when you are going through puberty. A lot of new feelings you don't know how to deal with, and not a lot of places where you can have people help you deal with that. We live in a fucked up world, man. Some people have great parents. I mean, I have good parents, but you know, they're not perfect. Like, you know, there's a lot of shit that I could not talk to them about, and I purposely did not talk to them about it. And then other people, what? It's hard, man. It's hard because we live in a world where people exploit vulnerability. So when you're young and confused and wanting very badly to be vulnerable with people, they will exploit you. Even at a fucking child level. Even other kids. They will take a moment of your vulnerability. They will take the most vulnerable state you have and fucking jab you. It's like, and I don't know where that comes from. It feels innate. Because when I was a kid, I would do that too. So many times, there's so many memories of me or other people making fun of each other or insulting people in a way that was like the most vulnerable and cutting and biting thing. Literally, I have said way meaner shit and heard the meanest shit of my life in high school. And we were babies. We didn't understand any of it. I don't know. And it just seems like an unsolvable or incredibly hard thing to solve. Like, how do you stop kids from being vicious pieces of shit? Is it possible? I don't know if it's possible. I don't know. I've talked about this so many times in the podcast. Anyway, speaking of high school, there was a kid with an accordion on the subway platform. There was a kid with an accordion on the subway platform. And I was thinking to myself, damn, dude, this kid is probably such a fucking nerd right now. Like, people probably make fun of him for that accordion. You guys know what accordion is, right? The fucking, like a piano, like the, you know what I'm talking about? That is not a good impression, but you know what I'm talking about. It's got the piano keys on the side, and you open and close it, and it makes musical sounds. This kid had an accordion. It's a instrument of the 1850s. I don't know if that's actually how far back it dates, but you are an old man if you have one. And this young kid had one. And all I could think to myself was like, this kid is going to fuck one day. He's probably like a 15-year-old dude. And I was like, this kid is a nerd. And he's probably getting shit. And people are making fun of him. But one day he's going to be fucking 22 or 25 or whatever the fuck. And he's going to be living in Brooklyn. And women are going to fuck the shit out of him. That's what's going to happen. He's going to play the accordion. He's going to tell people on dates, oh yeah, I play the accordion. And he's going to be good at it. Because someone who plays the accordion gets good at it. Because it's too easily made fun of an instrument for you not to get super fucking good at it. You have to commit. It's an instrument that has so many barriers of entry via people insulting you and being like, what the fuck are you doing, you 75-year-old man? That for you to be committed enough to be carrying it through the subway, lugging it through the subway onto the train to auditions or rehearsals or whatever the fuck you're doing, for you to commit that hardcore, it means you're going to be pretty good at it. And when you're fucking 25 and you're with a lady in Brooklyn and you bust out a jam on an accordion, you guys are going to fuck all night. It's just going to happen, dude. A kid with an accordion is an adult who fucks. It's just true. He's a fucking alt kid adult who slams. And I don't even talk like that, and I don't fuck like that, dude. I don't slam. That's disrespectful. But but this kid with the accordion is going to be an adult who slams. It's just going to happen. What are kids saying to him? That's all I could think. Every time I see a kid with something that would have been a bad thing for him when I was a kid, I just wonder if that's still happening. And it probably is. The answer always is yes. Any insult that you could conjure up that you think another kid has been called has been said to that kid 52 times before you could be like, do people call you this? But you would go halfway through saying it. You'd be like, have people made fun of the accordion? Like, yes, absolutely, every day. It's miserable, but I just learned the coolest song, and don't worry, you're gonna love it. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna love it, but I'll tell you who will love it: a girl when you're 25, or a guy, anybody. He's gonna be fucking all of Brooklyn. That kid, I swear to God. If he learns how to do a weird fucking old-timey version of WAP on the accordion, he's gonna be in several orgies. That's what's gonna happen. Yeah, dude. Yes. Yeah, New Year's just happened. Fuck, man. Oh, what I wanted to say before was people who, okay, so there are people who are like, yo, fuck it. I am, people who like act above shit. Or no, people who act like they did no wrong. People who look at their old Facebook statuses and they're like, oh shit, like that's still funny. People like that are the same people who go, yo, my parents are mean to me and look how I grew up. They're like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're the same people who are like, I was beat as a kid. I turned out fine. And every person who says that is always the worst motherfucker you've ever known in your life. Every guy who's ever said that, you're always looking at him like, no, you didn't, dude. You didn't turn out all right. You're a piece of shit. We're barely friends, dude. You're here because the other people I know won't fucking tell you to go home. The camera's about to go out. I'll see you guys in the next part. What's up? I'm back. So yeah, every person I've ever met who was like, yeah, dude, what? My dad was mean to me. My dad was shitty to me, dude. I turned out fine. You're like, you're mean to all of your friends. Literally yesterday, some guy said to me, he was like, dude, what? So what? My dad was brutally honest to me, dude. My dad was hard on me my whole life. Every time I did something, it wasn't good enough. And look at me now, dude. Look at me now. I turned out good. I turned out great. And I'm like, dude, you can't handle the lightest criticism. You have a bad job. So many people with successful fathers will be like, my dad treated me like shit, and look at how I turned out. And then you literally like, you are doing terrible, dude. You don't have, no one likes you. No one's in love. You have a lot of trouble finding a woman who will like you. I don't like you. The job you have is paying you nothing. You live with 17 roommates. You suck, dude. Dogs bite you when they see you. Fuck you. My dad is a person like that. He's like, everything. Also, it's just bullshit. My dad is like, everything my father did was correct because I became who I became because of him. And every teaching he put on me, I put on you guys. Everything he said was right, and I've passed it on to you. And you're like, dude, I knew your dad. I knew my no-no, and he was a jerk. He was a jerk, and you are different than him. You still are not. You still are a bit of a jerk sometimes, but you are way less and more loving of a man. Way less of a jerk and more loving of a man than he was. So I don't even know where that comes from. I don't know where that comes from, where your parents decide things that aren't true. Like, the things they say to you are not their beliefs at all. I don't know if I'm the only person with parents like that. Probably not. But my parents in particular both believe things that have no basis in reality. That they don't believe at all when put to pressure. Or like when anything is brought up. Like, my dad is like, everything my father did was right. And then I'm like, okay, your dad charged you. Your dad, when you got your first job, took a cut. At what point did you ever take a cut from any work that I did? Never. You never did that. You know why? Because that's psychotic. That's insane and mean and awful. And you didn't copy that. Even though you just told me you copied everything he ever did, you didn't. Your dad did not like hugging you, it seems. You said I love you to me a lot. Even when it felt like you didn't, you said it. Don't you think that's different and better? You know, you got me toys as a kid. I loved toys. It bred my imagination. It made me a fucking stimulated kid with a fun childhood. Your dad got you a fucking pet rock. Okay? Your dad goes, "What do you do? If you want toys, buy them yourself. Start a bike route." Dad, I'm 6. Well, wait till you're 10. My mom is like anti-drug. But, you know. I can't say too much about my mom. My mom will get upset. But, you know. I don't know why I don't know how she became anti-drug, because she has done them in the past. I won't say what, but it's just the way she reacts to shit is she's just like, "Can you believe that's legal now?" And it's like, Ma, what are you holding on to? The world approves of it. And also you do. You didn't stop doing it because you were like, this is bad. You just stopped doing it because you didn't feel like it anymore. I was asking her, I was like, where does this come from? I go, why did you stop doing any sort of drugs? And she's like, well, I just, other people I hung around with didn't do them anymore. So, or didn't like doing them or didn't do them. So I just didn't do them. I go, so there was no point where you're like, this is bad, I shouldn't do this? She goes, no, not really. So I'm like, so then why are you still, when it's legal in our state, and I don't even smoke this shit, and I'm fucking 28, why are you still and your other kids are older than me, why are you still holding on to like, marijuana? What are you holding on to? You don't believe it. Who is it for? I don't get who it's for. I don't get who it's for. I really don't. It's a very strange way to exist. I hope I'm not that way with my kid. Parents get so fucking weird. And also, I don't know how parents don't know what their kids do. Like, when I have a kid, I'll be amazed if he's not jerking off. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand how every parent, when they see their 13-year-old kid just like sitting on the couch watching TV, I don't get how they're not like, oh shit, you're not masturbating? You're not in a locked room? Whoa, what the fuck? For real, dude? Because I know what I was like as a teenager, and I jerked off constantly, bro. That was a lot of my day, dude. I had a computer in my room, dude. I lived in both worlds. I lived in the world of the family computer, and then I lived in the world of having a computer in my room. Kids today, bro. It's funny. This is a real thing where I feel old, and I feel like these darn kids today. I feel like a fucking boomer. But people don't understand the deletion of history, bro. Even when I had a computer in my room, it was my own computer, my parents would still come in and check my history. Not only did you have to delete your now you don't have to you don't have to delete your history, but also like you don't have to like incognito. You can just use incognito mode, and like your parents will never fucking see what you searched. Your parents will never know how much you've watched lesbians kissing. You'll never be in a scenario where your mom comes into the room and is like, "What are you doing?" While you're trying to watch porn. You're trying to watch porn and the door happens to not be locked, and then your mom comes in and then you're trying to keep the door closed because you're like, "Oh fuck, she's gonna see." And then your mom's like, I'm coming in! I'm coming in! Let me in! Which, by the way, in retrospect, psychotic, dude. If I have a kid and he's trying to like keep me from coming into the room, what did she think? Because what's her excuse? Oh, you could have been hurting yourself. I wasn't, dude. I wasn't hurting myself. I was watching porn without headphones. You probably heard a little bit of it. Why are you coming into the room? It's creepy as shit, dude. My mom came. I don't know if I told this story already. I'm going to tell it anyway. My mom came into the room. She was doing laundry. She came to get the basket from my room. It was early in the morning or the afternoon or whatever. Didn't realize what was going on. Didn't realize my door wasn't locked. She comes up. I'm in the middle of watching women kissing. And I run to the door and try and close it. And my mom's like, "No!" And at this point, my mom realizes I'm doing something that... She realizes I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing according to her. It's not something I shouldn't be doing. It's something I shouldn't be doing. It's something that I know that my parents would not like. So... Which is fucked, because there's nothing wrong with watching people kiss, dude. The shit I watched was barely even porn. For a long time, when I first started watching porn or masturbating, it was just women kissing. That's it. That's it, dude. That's all I watched. That's all I didn't want to watch fucking yet. I wasn't ready for it. I definitely told that story on this podcast. The first time I watched porn, my friend just showed me a video of a close-up of a dick going into a vagina, and I was not ready for it. I was very confused and very put off. I was like, don't people, like in the movies they make out, don't people make out? And then you could never find just men and women making out. It was only women making out. So I was like, I guess I'll watch that. I guess I'll watch that. Why are none of these straight people making out? What's going on, dude? And even now, not a lot of fucking heterosexual couples, like they're actually together. Some of them are. Honestly, I like now that I'm older, porn where it's a person, two people dating, couples porn or whatever. Good stuff, dude. You know why? Because they like each other. Because they kiss like they're really fucking. You know what I'm saying? When people just fucking psychotically fuck and don't ever make out, it bums me out, dude. When somebody is dating someone and they tell me that the person's a bad kisser, I'm like, what are you doing with your life? It makes me sad to the center of my body. Anyway, my mom's pushing in the door. She busts in. And there's something I could do. I don't close out of the thing. I just sit on the bed. And I think she sees it. Or I do click. I don't think I clicked out. I think I just sat in the bed and then was like, how am I going to recover from this? What a fucked up way to make your kid feel. For just like looking at... Dude, I don't know what's going on now. I don't know what's going on. And I understand that it's difficult to like talk to kids about sex. But like my experience with sex talk is kids on the bus talked about sex. And so I came home and asked my mom questions. And then my mom was like, oh, fuck, I guess I got to talk to you about this. And then she was so half-assed about it that I was asking her questions. I was like, wait, so what is sex? She goes, well, when a man and a woman love each other very much. That's right. She did the fucking hack line. And she goes, and when they're married, because she had to add a little bit of religion in there. When a man and woman love each other very much and get married, which is bullshit, because later in my life, I looked my mom dead in the face. And it was during the time when I was with my first girlfriend and we were fucking. And I looked at my mom and I was like, you think that people shouldn't have sex before marriage? And she goes, no, I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong. I go, you never had sex before marriage? And she was like, what? And I was like, you've never done that? You and dad didn't have sex before marriage? And she goes, Jake, you shouldn't be asking me that. I go, why? Why? You're telling me that's not okay? What? So you never did it? And then she goes, it doesn't matter what I did. And I go, exactly, dude. This and marijuana are bullshit, bro. You better toke up and fuck right now. Okay? There's nothing wrong with toking up and fucking before marriage. Shut up. You don't believe it. Stop. Anyway. So, but like the way I learned sex was through porn. That's what I learned what sex looked like and what sex was. Because the one person who I could ask about it, which was my mom, because I couldn't ask my dad. Because if I asked my dad, he'd go, I don't want to talk about it. This is weird. This is so weird. I can't talk about sex with my son. It's only weird if you react that way. If your reaction is, I don't know, it's fucking weird, then yeah, I'm bummed out, you're bummed out, we're not going to talk about it. But if you were just like, yeah, listen, a man and a woman, a man puts his penis in a woman's vagina, you know, that's what happens. Okay? It's a sexual thing. It's, you know, you can't, listen, I'm having a hard time doing a hypothetical of it. But just tell your kid. When they're asking you the questions and you think they're of age to hear about it, tell them sex is between two people who like each other very much, and you do things with each other's genitalia, and listen, just give them a porn to watch that you think is fine. No, you can't do that either, because then the kid's like, this is what my dad likes, and they don't want to live with that. Listen, I'm realizing right now it's difficult. It's very difficult. And I hope if the time comes and I have a kid, I'm well equipped to answer his questions and make sure he knows about sex. But even now, trying to broach the conversation hypothetically, it's difficult. I get it. But you could do better. At least say, you know, if you like women, your penis goes in her vagina, and that's what intercourse is. Because I knew what a penis was. I didn't know what a vagina was. When I went to my mom, I was like, what's a vagina? My mom said this to me. She goes, well, men have what you have, and women have a hole. And I was like, a hole? My mom said women have a hole. Just tell me the part, dude. Say vagina to your kid. What's the worst that can happen? I'm going to laugh? What am I going to do? Cry? No, I'm going to be like, vagina. Like, I knew the word vagina, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it looked like. My parents were like, don't ever look at porn, son. So all I've seen were clothed women. I was like, I don't know what's underneath there, but what's in clothes, it looks sick. So when someone's like, vagina, I'm like, what is that, dude? And then my mom is like, it's a hole. And I go, like the hole I have? And she's like, yeah, you have a hole and women have a hole. And in my head, I'm thinking about my penis. And even, you know, my penis at the time of when I was told about sex wasn't a full-grown penis. But even that size penis, I was like, there's no way that's going inside of a pee hole. Because I said to my mom, I was like, it's her pee hole? I go, what do you mean a hole? It's like a butthole? Or no, I didn't say that. I said, what do you mean a hole? Like, she has a pee hole? I guess I said that. I don't know what the fuck I said. But somehow it came out to be where my mom was like, she has a hole. And I was like, is it the size of my pee hole? And she goes, no, it's not. It's bigger than that. And so but somehow in my head it became like sex was anal. That heterosexual sex was anal. That I was putting my penis in a butt. So I had to learn something from somewhere, okay? Without porn, I would not know how to fuck another human being. But also, I'm not allowed to watch it. So it just makes a very conflicted, weird, confrontational feeling about sex in general, which is not good. But my mom, I was sitting on the bed, and my mom was like, hey, what is this? Were you watching this? You were watching this. You were watching porn. Why were you watching this? Is this porn? What were you watching? Why were you watching it? I was a young kid who who did not know how to deal with this situation, did not know what to do. And so I just looked at the floor and I said, nah, I wasn't watching anything. And she goes, no, you were. I see it right now. I go, nah, wasn't watching it. Nah, wasn't me. And it kind of worked because she just kept going, you are watching it. You're watching it. You were watching it. What were you watching? Girls kissing or whatever? I was like, no, I wasn't watching that. I wasn't watching any of it. Of course I was. She could see it. She could see the history on my computer. She's being a psychotic sleuth about it. But at the same time, I just kept denying until she was just like, well, you're grounded. I was like, okay, I didn't watch anything. Which during the time, I was like, why did I just keep doing that? But now in retrospect, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. I was a young kid who couldn't have that conversation. Didn't want to have that conversation, so I just backed out of it. I just said no until she left me alone. But yeah, my point is, if incognito mode existed, I wouldn't have had to deal with that. Wouldn't have had to deal with that. Because part of the reason why I didn't close out of it was I knew that she would just see the history anyway, because she can see the history. Which again, psychotic. I hope parents aren't doing that anymore. They're going on the computer and searching your history. And it made it so that years and years later, for the longest time, I was worried about my history. And then suddenly, I think in my mid-20s or early 20s, I was like, what am I doing? It's my laptop. It's my, what? I'm not going to get in trouble. That, it took that long for me to finally be like, oh yeah, I'm not going to get in trouble for people seeing porn. Most people look at porn. I don't need to delete my history. I frequent these sites. It's okay for it to fill out browsers. It's okay for it to autofill the name of a site. What is the point of deleting this? It's something I look at. It's fine. So yeah, kids are lucky today. You got your phone, dude. You got your phone. Who's checking your fucking phone? You could lock your parents out of your own phone. That's the thing too. I guess I'm old school because people tell me, they're like, oh, I watch porn on my phone. And I'm like, I absolutely never do that at all. I need even my laptop. I'm like, sometimes this isn't getting it done. You ever watch porn on a TV? It's cool. It's cool, dude. I get it. I get why there were porn theaters, bro. It's cool. It's cool to see it on the big screen. Anything on a big screen is cool. Every once in a while you're like, damn, dude, I can see everything. That's an incredible discovery. Realizing you can use headphones. It's really interesting when you realize that. You're like, fuck, I can use headphones? What the fuck? For forever, I listened to porn with the quietest of volume or in silence. Most of my masturbation was to porn that was completely silent. So I was just getting off on the visual. And then I one day, my parents weren't home, no one was home, and I listened to the audio and I was like, this is amazing. But then even then I didn't make the jump to I can use headphones. I was like, fuck, I have to wait for everyone to leave the house for me to get off on on the noises women make. And then one day I was like, wait a minute, I can use headphones. What the fuck? And then that changed the game, dude. But even then, you're still half listening to the world. Even then, you're one earbud in, one earbud out. It was rare that I popped them both in and just honed in, dude. Because you still had to. That can't be psychologically good for a kid. Every time he masturbates, he's looking over his shoulder like, I hope no one knows I'm doing this. That can't be good. People wonder why human beings are psychologically who are sexually fucked up. And then you think about something like that, you're like, yeah, most kids are terrified when they masturbate that someone will know they're doing it. I wonder why we're so fucked up sexually. I wonder why we have difficulty communicating during sex. I wonder. Maybe it's because from the get-go, you know, maybe it's because we all don't start on the right foot with it. Damn, I just fucking hit my whole desk. Anyway. Why doesn't Spider-Man have money? I don't think I talked about this last week. I don't think I did. I think I keep forgetting about it. But ever since I saw No Way Home, did I talk about this? I don't think I did. Whatever, I'm going to talk about it. Again, I apologize if I talked about this last week. But why doesn't Spider-Man have any money? I don't understand it. Did Tony Stark not leave him anything in the fucking will? Like, I don't get it, dude. I saw that movie, and I was like, do the Avengers not give him money? Does nobody fucking... Is he a child soldier? Like, what's going on in these fucking movies? I don't get it. How does he not... There's that line in the trailer and in the movie where he's like, I'm the most famous person in the world, and I'm still broke. And people laughed, and I was like, listen... I'm not watching all these Marvel movies. I only watched a few of them, and even I know Tony Stark was the richest motherfucker of all time, right? And Tony Stark is like Spider-Man's father figure, and he dies, and he left Spider-Man drones in the will? Leave him drones, sure, but also leave him a couple billion, you know? Leave him a cool 2 million. Why not? 1 million. Leave him 500K. Whatever, dude. You didn't give him any cash? You just gave him drones that murdered a guy and then now he's in trouble for it? What are you talking about? You just fucked his life up instead of giving him a cool $500,000? What the fuck, dude? No, dude, I'm not going to leave you anything in the will. Instead, I'm gonna give you some drones, and Funny will be there all the time. What's his name? Fucking Jon Favreau. Your boy Funny will be chilling. Happy. Your boy Funny, dude. Funny's a good name, bro. It's close enough. Happy, Funny, same shit. And then in No Way Home, Happy's got a fucking sick-ass apartment. Why? Because he works for S.H.I.E.L.D.? Why the fuck? Did S.H.I.E.L.D. not pay... Is it a loophole? Did they hire Peter Parker? Is Tony Stark just a piece of shit who hired Peter Parker because he's like, well, he's young enough where it's an internship? Dude, that's what it was. He's in high school. Spider-Man interned for the Avengers. They didn't fuck him. Dude, unpaid labor is bullshit, dude, especially when it comes to superheroes, okay? Captain America needs to give him some cash. I didn't know fucking Captain America was fucking... I didn't know Captain America and Iron Man were Jake and Logan Paul. I didn't know that. You want to come do work for me for clout? Dude, we're not going to pay you, but people will know that Spider-Man is badass as fuck. And then when your Aunt May dies, you'll literally be fucked. At the end of that movie, when he goes to the apartment and they're like, hey, rent is due next month. I'm like, with what, dude? Not only does he not have any money, but he also doesn't exist. Like, how the fuck is he going to make money? We already know he can't make money as Spider-Man. He couldn't make money as Spider-Man when everyone knew he was a part of the Avengers. What the fuck, dude? Dude, I didn't know that the Marvel Cinematic Universe was all about child exploitation via Spider-Man. I didn't know that, dude. Spider-Man's a child soldier, dude. I had no idea. I had no idea those movies were that fucked up. And maybe it's social commentary and they're, you know, commenting on the fact that that happens, but it is, they're supposed to be the good guys, aren't they? I mean, it makes sense that they would have him as an intern, but it is a little bit fucked up when all of his family is dead and no one knows he exists. For, you know, suddenly you have to think to yourself, like, Tony couldn't have left him anything, dude. And now if he comes up with the idea like, hey, actually, didn't Tony leave me anything else in the will? They'd be like, who are you? Yeah, he left Spider-Man something in the will, not whoever the fuck you are, dude. I don't even know I didn't even know Peter Parker was a name that existed. Also, how does that work? Is it people don't know he's Peter Parker, or is the word Peter Parker like that doesn't exist? The name Peter Parker, like even if he says his name, they're like those words aren't real. I don't know. Also, maybe this was all addressed. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of the movies. Maybe he was like, maybe they had a one-off joke of him being like, he didn't leave me any money, and they're like, nah, dude, he left you the drones. Maybe it was a fun quip. I don't know. But I'm just saying, I saw No Way Home, and I feel bad for Tom Holland. Okay? He could have killed it. But maybe Tony Stark was the same as my dad, and he was like, you know what? My father made me fight to be a millionaire, to be a billionaire fucking psychopath who sells weapons. I'm going to do the same thing to Tom Holland. If I give Tom Holland money, he's not going to work for it. My dad was shitty to me, and I turned out good. Maybe Tony Stark was saying that. And what I would have to say to Tony Stark is, you're dead, dude. Give Tom Holland some money. Tony, you're dead. Give fucking Peter Parker a little bit of cash. Also, so what, dude? So what? People always say that. Well, if I give my kid everything, he's going to be lazy. It's like, well, let him be a little lazy. What's wrong with having a little bit of a lazy kid if he's just, if your kid's a nice kid, if you instill, I don't know, I feel like you can provide for your kid and make him comfortable and also just be like, hey, like, what do you like to do? You got to like life is about being productive. These are productive. Let's find out what makes you feel alive. Can't you do both? I don't know, man. Anyway, Tom Holland should have some money. It's fucked up. Or Peter Parker, whatever. He basically is Spider-Man at this point. If he just walked around and was like, I'm Spider-Man, people would be like, all right, man, cool. I'm not Tom Holland anymore. I'm the actual Peter Parker. People are like, all right, it's not that weird. Anyway, that's it. The timer went off. The camera might be off right now. I'm not sure, or it might be about to go off, but this was fun. Sorry the podcast was so late this week. I'll have it on time next week. You guys are the best for listening. Anyone who listened, you're awesome. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.
Jake, you're an idiot. Jake, you don't make any sense. Jake, you're a piece of shit. A piece of shit.